Okay, well, let's go on with our conversations about how to identify good spirits, superior spirits, and how to identify inferior spirits, and how to be sure that the medium is not being deceived by an inferior spirit, or to identify if the medium is not a fake medium taking advantage of people's belief. I will read chapter 21 of Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 21. And this book is a book that has parts of the Gospel explained by superior spirits. So we have parts of Gospel, the moral parts of Gospel. It doesn't have historical part of the Gospel explaining, for instance, where Jesus was born, explaining was how he was born, and the historical part of the gospel or of Jesus' life. But it will explain or bring us some lights about the moral lessons that Jesus left in his life in his gospel. And these chapters talks about the following subject: do not believe all the spirits. I will read a part of the Gospel, 1 John 4:1, and it says, Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. These are Jesus' words, the Gospel, 1 John 4:1. Now let's go on with the explanation of the spirits. I will read an explanation about this part of the Gospel that was provided by the spirit Erastus in Paris in 1862. Let's see what he says about it. This item is called The Character of the True Prophet. Mistrust the false prophets. This recommendation is useful in all epochs, but above all in times of transition such as now, when a transformation of humanity is occurring because of a multitude of those who are ambitious and scheming will promote themselves as reformers and as messiahs. We should be on guard against these impostors, and it is the duty of all honest people to unmask them. You may well ask how they can be identified. Here are the things which point them out. The command of an army is only given to a capable general. Do you believe that God is less prudent than man? You may be sure that he only gives important missions to those he knows are capable of fulfilling them, seeing that great missions are heavy burdens which crush those who are lacking in sufficient strength to carry them. In all things, the teacher must know more than the disciple. In order to lead humanity to advance both morally and intellectually, we must have men and women of superior intelligence and morality. This is why spirits who are already advanced, have passed their tests in other existence, are always chosen for these missions, because if they were not superior to the ambient in which they were required to act, their effect would be nullified. Having said that, we must conclude that the true missionary of God must justify his mission through superiority, virtue, magnanimity, results, and by the moralizing influence of his work. We may also take into consideration yet another consequence. If, due to their character, virtues, and intelligence, they show themselves to be less than the part they purport to represent, or the person under whose name they have placed themselves, then they are nothing more than storytellers of low character who cannot even imitate their chosen model. Another consideration is that in the greater part true missionaries of God are ignorant of the fact. They fulfill the mission to which they were called by the strength of character they possess, second, by occult force who inspire and direct them even against their will, but without premeditation. In a word, the true prophet reveals himself by his actions and is discovered by others, whereas the false prophet declares himself to be a messenger of God. The first is humble and modest, the second is full of himself, speaks with arrogance, and as all who lie appears to be always afraid he will not be believed. Some of these impostors have passed themselves as apostles of Christ, others as Christ himself, and to the disgrace of all humanity, they have encountered those sufficiently credulous as to believe in their baseness. However, a simple pondering is enough to open the eyes of even the most blind in this matter. That is to say, that if Christ were to reincarnate on earth, he would come with all his power and all his virtues, unless one admits that he had degenerated, which would be absurd. Well, in the same manner, if we were to take away even one of God's attributes, we would no longer have God. So likewise, if we take away even one of Christ's virtues, we would no longer have Christ. The question is, do those who support to be Christ have all his virtues? Observe them, scrutinize their ideas and actions, and you will recognize that apart from anything else, they lack the distinctive qualities of Christ, which are charity and humility, while abounding in all those Christ does not possess, such as covetousness and pride. Furthermore, take note that at this moment in various countries there are many supposed Christs, just as there are many Elias, St. Johns, or St. Peters, and clearly it is impossible for them all to be true. You may be sure they are only creatures who exploit the credulity of others and who find it convenient to live at the expenses of those who listen to them. So then, mistrust the false prophets, especially at the time of renewal such as the present, because there will be many impostors who say they are from God. They try to satisfy their vanity here on earth, but a terrible justice will befall them. Of that you may be sure. This is a message from Erastus in Paris, 1862. Well, we have here one message from a superior spirit. I think that it is a good parameter for us to analyze how superior spirits talk, how they put forward their ideas, how their ideas flow. It is important for us to compare this kind of message, firstly, against the parameters or the checklist that I have reported or placed to you in my previous videos, to check if this could be considered a message from a superior or an inferior spirit. Secondly, if we conclude that this is a message from a superior spirit, we can use it as a basis of comparison to other messages that we can find on YouTube or message that we can receive from a medium. If Erastus is a superior spirit but inferior to Jesus, how could he be more, let's say, clever, have more fluency in his ideas, explain his ideas in a better way than Jesus would? So this is a good parameter for us to check if Erastus is in the same level of superior spirits, and if messages from Jesus that we find in the internet are inferior in terms of level from Erastus. That means that, again, Erastus is inferior in comparison with Jesus. So a message from Jesus would at least keep the same level of content in terms of ideas, in terms of flow of ideas, in terms of moral. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Thank you very much.